Service. And we welcome to the program now Laura Heller, Head of Manuscript and Image Collections with the Mississippi Department of Archives and History. Laura, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, appreciate that. So tell us, first of all, exactly what does that mean? Head of Manuscript and Image Collections. What does that entail?
The Archives and Record Services Division of MDH is composed of several sections, and the Manuscript and Image Collection section preserves and makes accessible archival collections from families, from local businesses, from senators, their personal papers, and just a variety of collections there, including our veterans.
Okay. And so do you have a group of people that work for you as well, an organization?
Oh, yes, sir. I've got Archie Skiffer, archivist we've had since for about 7 years now.
Yeah.
And then Liz Kumbunga is our Welty curator. And then Jeff Rogers is our graphics curator. So that's my immediate team. And then I have a wealth of volunteers, interns, working for me to help make these collections available.
So you were telling me off the air that you have some needs in some a particular era in some areas, but specifically related to a particular era. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. MDH collects and preserves original objects and archival materials of all types that help us tell the great story of Mississippi. And one of those areas that we're lacking in that story is from our veterans, specifically from the Vietnam era, Korean War, our Desert Storm and Desert Shield groups, and then other wars that I'm not familiar with. But we definitely want to preserve those historical records. It might include those military papers from the Air Force, the Army, the Navy. It might include the letters from those soldiers home or the letters from their family to the soldier and photographs. Scrapbooks, newspaper clippings, just anything that tells that story of the Mississippians' experience overseas fighting in wars.
And so do you you just try to get the message out that you're looking for these kinds of items in the hopes that people that might be sitting on them give you a call and make them available?
They can contact me at the Department of Archives and History about discussing what a donation means and how do we make those things available to people. They're also available for the museum division to exhibit in future exhibits or improve our collections here. And then also we loan materials out to other institutions. For example, the Smithsonian has borrowed some things from our collections.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
I've toured both museums multiple times, and they are incredibly impressive. I know a lot of folks, I always ask this question because a lot of folks go to the museums that aren't from Mississippi, that it's kind of on their bucket list. They're from other parts of the country, and they come through, and they're absolutely blown away, impressed with the quality of the curation in the exhibits. Do you hear the same feedback?
Yeah, I do, and part of the reason why those exhibits are so exceptional is because the materials came from Mississippians here. They're part of the artifact collections, they're part of the paper collections, and but prior to the museum's opening, a number of researchers for the museums were going through the manuscript collections and the government records collections to find materials to use in the exhibits. Yeah.
Is there some stuff that's not in the museums that we have stored somewhere? Do you rotate that? How does that work?
That's true. That's true. That's not my area. I don't work for the museums. My colleague, Nan Prince and Shane Keel are folks there to answer those in more specific detail. But they do rotate items from time to time because you want to provide the best environment for those items to be exhibited. Long-term exposure to light or heat can cause some degradation.
Well, I would assume that's the same as it pertains to manuscript and image objects as well. Is that correct?
That's true. There's some items that at this point we are switching out for reproductions.
Really?
Yeah, just a few of those things, or selecting something similar in our collections to showcase.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do other states have similar agencies and organizations that sort of keep up and maintain their history as well?
There are some examples, but I think Mississippi's are above and beyond the best.
Really? Yeah, I mean, it's impressive. It's good to hear, and certainly if the museums are any indication, it's really incredible. But before we go, I got to ask you this: do we have some like artifacts stored in the Capitol? My understanding is there might be something in the basement of the Capitol in vaults or something, part of our history, documents, manuscripts. Have you ever heard that?
That's not my area. I think if there were anything, we would have already received it over in our collection.
I heard that from some legislators is the reason I asked that question.
There might be some things there that they rotate for display in the building.
Appreciate you coming on. Laura Heller, head of Manuscript and Image Collection, Mississippi Department of Archives and History. Folks, it's time for a break. We're at the top of the hour. That means Fox News and SuperTalk News. When we return, it's Representative Fred